Hello, I'm Jamila Musayeva, an international social etiquette consultant and author of etiquette books. If you would like to get my books, you can do so now directly on my website. I'll link it here as well in the description box below. If you are a new viewer on my channel, here I talk about etiquette, soft skills, self-development. So if you're interested in all of that, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back to my channel. I'm delighted to see you all here. Before I get started on today's video topic, I want to note that at the end of this video, I'll be sharing the details of my outfit of the day or outfit of the video. So make sure to watch this video until the very end to see what I'm wearing today for this video. Today's video is dedicated to my ultimate role model, the woman that really inspired me to become who I am, to the way I carry myself, to even the way I dress, and that is Audrey Hepburn. She has been my idol ever since I first saw the movie. I think it was either Sabrina or it might have been Breakfast at Tiffany's. It was the first movie I saw, and I remember I fell in love with her voice, with her tone, with the way she carried herself. And later on, the more I learned about her as a person, the more I fell in love. So today's video is tribute to Audrey Hepburn, as well as what are some of the ultimate etiquette lessons that we can learn from one and only the Queen of Elegance, Audrey Hepburn. The first and the most important lesson of how to be, feel, and look elegant from Audrey Hepburn that we learned is the importance of a good posture. If you know about Audrey Hepburn, you know that she had background in ballet training. So growing up, she did a lot of ballet, and that training really ingrained in her body. You could tell that her body remembered the ballet training. Even though she quit later on when she proceeded with acting, you could still see a ballerina in her. If you haven't checked out my videos on how to maintain a good posture, make sure that you do. I've done a couple of videos about a good posture, how to stand elegantly, how to pose elegantly, as well as how to carry ourselves elegantly and gracefully, and that is keeping in mind of having a good posture. So I want to show you some of the clips from later on in her life when she was giving an interview on different TV stations, and you see that here even the interviewer mentions that she's sitting like a queen. Let's take a look at this clip and we'll come back.
What I love about you is you always sit so well.
I'm sitting straight.
But you do, yes. You sit like the Queen Mother, with your back straight and knees together.
Well,
is that the dancer training, or was that when you were a little girl, your mum?
It's a suit because the skirt's a bit short.
Oh, is that it?
So here you see that she is sitting very straight. Her back is slightly away from the back of the chair, so she's not completely leaning backwards. She's holding herself straight. Both of her legs are grounded on the floor, and she has her knees tucked in together. And the interviewer even says, you know, you look like a mother queen almost. He says that, is this the dance training that you're sitting like that? And she responds in a very humorous way that it's because she wore a short skirt. That's why she's keeping her knees together. But I do think that, you know, dance training, ballet training had a huge impact on the way that she felt her body and communicated her body with grace. So now I know that at this point, having seen her with knees tucked together, her both feet grounded on the floor, like the mother queen seating position, I've shown it in one of the Portman videos, you can check them out as well, about different seating positions. But that's not my personal favorite. I like to kind of bring my knees together and slightly tilt my legs to one side. I find it more feminine, more I would say more flattering, because your legs look longer that way. But you will see in the next clip that she's actually doing the same. She has crossed her legs, but at the same time she has done it so neatly that you really don't see any gaps in between the knees. Let's take a look at this segment.
Feel like a star. Did you enjoy being a star?
So you'll see that her body is slightly shifted away from the camera. It's not looking straight in the camera, which is important. Be mindful when you're shooting, where you're in front of the photo shoot or be the camera, that your legs are not completely pointing in towards the camera, because then again, all this area will be open and visible. So you kind of want to give it a little bit of a slant. So it's looking sideways a little bit from the camera. So there is nothing exposed here. And you see that she keeps her hands palm inside the palm very neatly together, and she's very composed. So I want you to remember her posture, not only from the movies but also in her daily interview videos. The second important elegance lesson that we learn from Audrey Hepburn is learning how to walk like you're floating and not stomping on the floor. This is something that we've seen her, do in a lot of movies, especially visible at the opening scene of Breakfast at Tiffany's when she's walking away from the store into the street. You see this slight movement, very feminine and elegant movement in her hip area, swaying from side to side, and her step is inwards and inwards in one straight line. I love this scene so much that I actually replicated it or redid it in my own way. I'll show you a clip here. You'll be seeing it while I'm talking. And the most challenging part in this clip was actually to redo her, to show her walk, because even though I do consider that I have quite an elegant walk, but it was so difficult to float like Audrey Hepburn. She does it amazingly well, not just in that particular movie, but also if you watch other movies like Sabrina, a lot of the time she's just floating in the air. Again, I do think that the dancing training has had a huge impact on the way that she carried herself, but I think all of these things are actually learnable. I never did any dance training growing up, but looking at her and picking her as my role model and watching her do it, I tried to replicate the movements in my own life and try to make it my second nature, and I think I've done a quite good job about that. The third elegance lesson that I've learned from Audrey Hepburn is really sticking to the basics in my wardrobe, wearing not what is trendy, rather what is true to my style. And she has been the embodiment of elegance, timelessness, as well as less is more concept. If less is more would be a person, I think that'd be Audrey Hepburn. And the way that you can test it is if you were to go back to her pictures in the 40s, 50s, 60s, if you look at her style, you feel like this person belonged to our era. You would never think that it was almost a century ago that she would dress up like that, because she's still so relevant today. Everything that she wore still looks so relevant and adequate in this day and time. I even sometimes when I look back at my own pictures from early 2000s, it feels like, what was I thinking? I'm not even from this era. Like, I look so not timeless. And when I look back at her pictures, I realize her wardrobe essentials were consistent of really good quality clothes. She was really close friends with Givenchy, and she had the right colors, the basic colors, and she actually wore what fit her really well. And because you could understand this by looking at the pictures and realizing that she knew the strength that she had and the things that she wanted to cover up. And that's something that I've learned from her is that I need to wear what suits my body style, proportion, and my stature, rather than what is relevant now, what is trendy now. For example, in my own example, at one point it was very popular to wear this really skinny pencil skirts below the knee. They look really nice on a lot of people, but they really don't suit me at all. I don't know why, but it doesn't look good on me, and I have learned to let it go, understanding that it just doesn't fit my body proportions, and I've opted into something that is maybe a little bit loose, straight A-line skirts or dresses that I often wear for work. I'll show you examples here so you can see what I'm talking about, but the essential is learning to build your wardrobe from basic, staple things that work good with your body proportions, as well as the colors suit you well, and then you'll be as elegant. The fourth elegance lesson that I've learned from Audrey Hepburn is embracing this natural makeup look that looks beautiful, and yet it's not overpowering your face, but also just enough so that you look more fresh and more ready than if you were to have no makeup. We live in this time and world where people take things to the extreme. There's no balance in things. It's either super heavy, very contour based, baking and caking, everything, all of that with makeup, so that the original face features and traits are all lost underneath that tons of makeup. Again, if you're an artist and you are performing, I understand the necessity of it, but for daily life I think it's a bit too much, and it makes everyone look the same, because the way that you see these videos, a girl starts with one face and ends up looking like a completely different person. That's my personal opinion. I'm not here to offend anyone. It's just the way I've seen lately in a lot of the reels that come up to me, you know. And the other perspective, or the other extreme of that, is that no makeup, no nothing. You know, why is that women have to wear makeup and men don't have to wear anything? So there is this other extreme, and I find myself oftentimes conflicted between these two groups. So I belong to the group that believes a little bit of makeup can go a long way to make you look prepped and fresh and more elegant than if you were to have nothing at all. So if you see some of her pictures from daily life, she has a little bit of lip tint or lipstick or a crayon, maybe a lip liner. She has a little bit on her eyes, fix her eyebrows, so she always looks pristine and clean and fresh. And then there are some clips of her interview at a later stage in her life where even coming on screen, she looks so fresh, and so she looks just like herself. You can tell that it's her. She's not a different person off the screen and on the screen, and I love this about her, and I have tried to endorse it into my own life, trying to maintain and creating this signature daily makeup look that's easy to maintain, and that I actually always look prepped to step out of the door. The fifth lesson that I have embraced from her is making sure that I take good care of my body. And I realized that I think the most important thing when it comes to feeling good in your body is when you feel healthy in your body weight. You know, the charts might say something, but if you feel strong enough, if you have a good stamina, if you're healthy enough, there's nothing to be concerned about. And I love that she was always, you know, training. She was also physically always active, and she always watched what she ate. She was very mindful when she was eating. And what I also particularly love about Audrey is that we don't get to see her stages in life where she like gained too much weight and lost too much weight. She's been consistent in her frame, and that's what I have decided to make my own life goal as well, is trying to maintain a certain range of a weight that I can sustain for long term, which is why I'm always against strict diets, about going on a detox, going super crazy with your diet where you don't have anything to eat and then you just splurge. I am really mindful when I eat. I try to enjoy my food. I try not to label food as a guilty pleasure, though I sometimes might use the phrase, but I don't think or feel guilty afterwards. And the reason I've developed this attitude is that I want to maintain this figure for as long as I can. And sometimes when actually people ask me how many kilos are you, I might not know, but I will know if I've gained or lost weight based on how tight my jeans are. I wear the same kind of jeans. I've been wearing them for over 12 years. And if I'm fitting in those jeans, then I know I'm the same, more or less weight. So I actually don't need a scale to tell me that. I can just use one pair of jeans and know that I'm always fitting in. I actually have this joke with my family. I have a skiing suit that I have been wearing ever since I started learning to ski. So it was like 2018, 19, 20, I don't remember exact year, but it was before COVID. And I do remember, and every year I have a picture in that ski suit. Some years it's really tight on me, other years it's a little bit loose, and based on that ski suit I know if I'm gaining or losing weight. So this is again my life advice, but again it's up to you to take it or not. But it has worked for me to know that I can still fit into the jeans that I wore 12 years ago, and I'm still healthy and I'm still strong, and that's what matters. The sixth elegance lesson that I've learned from Audrey Hepburn, and that came from watching a lot of her interviews, is how intentional she is with her talk. She does not blabber. She doesn't just, you know, cut the interviewer and starts talking herself. She's very comfortable with silent spaces. She's very comfortable with silence. I think oftentimes the people that look less confident and the people that look less charismatic are the ones that blabber a lot and that do not let other people talk, and they just go on and on and on and on. They are not curating their thoughts or their speech. With her, I noticed how comfortable she was with keeping a silence between the question and her answer, and she took her time to respond. So we can all learn this from her in our ways of speaking. Instead of trying to fill in the silence with just empty words and a lot of sentences, we can just keep quiet, learn to be brief with our speech, but also convey depth in our messages. And that's something I have learned from her. I'm trying to also employ it in my everyday life as well. Sometimes I don't feel comfortable with silence, especially when it comes to family members, but I'm also learning to be comfortable in silence. The 7th elegance lesson that we can learn from Audrey Hepburn is learning to accept compliments gracefully. You know, it's amazing thing for women especially to be able to accept compliments without rubbing them off, without shooting back a compliment. You have to be careful and graceful and have the sense of gratitude for the compliment that's being paid to you. So instead of doing this tennis court kind of match, trying to give each other a compliment back and forth, soak it in, let it be yours, enjoy the moment of praise that people are giving to you. And that doesn't mean that you have to be full of yourself, that you have to be arrogant. It just means that you are comfortable and confident enough to know your worth, and you're ready to accept a good word about you, knowing your worth and value. I loved how Audrey was able to gracefully accept a compliment, but at the same time stay so humble and so grounded, and also have the sense of gratitude of where she has attained in her life. I think that balance is what makes a person very beautiful. To reiterate this point, I want you to take a look at this short clip from an interview where a man pays her a compliment and see her reaction.
That's Trunk, T-R-U-N-K.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she remembers me or not, but she's still a beautiful woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here a man says she's still a beautiful woman. The man says over the phone, someone called the studio, and she just simply smiles and says thank you. She doesn't go on explaining, oh, the reason I'm so beautiful is I have so much makeup on, there's so much work that was done on me, you know, I had a nice stylist or things. She doesn't try to reason why she looks so beautiful today. She just gracefully accepts the compliment. And if someone tells you, you know, you look fabulous, your skin is glowing, or your hair is really fresh and it's shining, don't go on explaining you have a new shampoo or a new skincare routine. Just gracefully accept the compliment. The 8th elegance lesson that we learned from Audrey Hepburn, and I think it would be probably her staple thing. If you were to, for example, if we say Marilyn Monroe, we think of this flirtiness, we think of this kind of sexiness, but when we say Audrey Hepburn, we think of elegance and this genuine, very generous smile that's plastered all over her face. You know, she has this very welcoming, that very endearing smile, and maybe plastered all over her face is a wrong way to describe it, because I think that her smile was always granted rather than plastered, so it wasn't permanently 24/7, but she has this, you know, closed lip smile, but when she was elated, when she was super excited about something, she would beam and her teeth would be visible. And that is what makes a smile so generous and so genuine, is that it becomes granted rather just, you know, fixed on your face. I think in general, the more we smile, the more open we are to the world, the more the world is open to us. So with a smile, we open doors to ourselves, and we bring in opportunities to our lives. So smiling is not just important for looking elegant, for being this, beaming this, you know, elegance and gracefulness, but it's also important for being approachable and for allowing people to enter your life, the right people to enter your life, and smiling is very contagious. The 9th important elegance lessons that we learn from Audrey Hepburn is being kind. She's probably one of those Hollywood stars that no one can speak ill about. You know, her persona on camera and off camera was equally kind to people. She was a very good friend with people that she was, you know, working with. She was very respectful on set and off set. She had a huge love for animals, and she worked a lot for humanitarian efforts way before it was a popular thing or a thing to do, you know. She was the first one to actually care about those people that were in need. And you could really see how with age, her inner beauty got reflected on her outside. You know, there's a saying how those that age gracefully or age well do so is because whatever they're holding inside comes beaming from the outside. And so the reason I think she looked so beautiful when she aged is because she had such a kind soul inside. One of the popular quotes that she's often quoted for is, she said, "For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only the words of kindness. And for poise, walk with the knowledge that you're not alone." And I love how she put it so well, that, you know, it's not just about being kind, but also seeing best in other people and knowing that you're not the only one who's walking on this earth. That really made her kind from inside out. And that's probably the most important lesson that we can learn from this beautiful Hollywood star. And the final elegance lesson that we have learned from Audrey Hepburn's life is that she kept her private life private. She kept a lot of things private. You never heard of her, you know, divorce story, what happened. You know that she got divorced, but there wasn't a lot of dirty laundry around it. She was very quiet in her private life, and she respected her boundaries and made others respect hers. You know, she, despite of being such a big Hollywood star, and I'm sure there are so many, you know, pages and papers that really wanted to know the its and bits of her private life, but she always drew that line. Also in presence, when she was doing interviews, she always kept that line, as well as, you know, by being private in her home, she always maintained that, I wouldn't say a mystery, but that privacy that made her mysterious to others. And this is something I think that's often overlooked in today's world. When you become a social media persona, people say, "Oh, you have chosen this path, you have decided to be on camera, so now accept everything that comes with it." Certain people are okay with exposing every aspect of their life, starting from, you know, their family, ending with their work, office, but certain people are there to educate. I consider myself one of those people that is on camera to educate about the knowledge that I have in etiquette, in self-development, in public speech, in body language, in whatever knowledge I have, I'm here to share. But I am not obliged to share something that I consider private, and that's my family, that's my husband, my kids, my parents, my husband's family. They are people that want to have their privacy, and I will never expose them for sake of views. And I think that's one of the most important things that we need to learn in this century right now, is that overexposing, oversharing is not elegant. You have to keep certain things private, and no matter what the pressure is, you have to know your core values, you have to know what you stand for, you have to know and draw those boundaries for yourself first, so that you can then draw it to other people. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more content on etiquette, you can join my Patreon etiquette movie and book club. Every month I feature a movie analysis from an etiquette standpoint of view, as well as I share summaries of the books that I read. And you can also join my pre-recorded online courses, both available on my website. One is called The Art of Entertaining at Home, and the other one is the Western Formal Dining Etiquette, that gives you all the information you need to get ready for a formal dinner. So for this video, I'm wearing a sleeveless top by And Other Stories. I'm wearing these high-rise Zara jeans that are super comfortable. I think they're called the mom's cut or something like that. They're high-rise. I love high-rise jeans because I think they look the most flattering for my body type. And I'm wearing this Miu Miu flats that are super comfortable, easy to wear. They go great with an everyday casual look, as well as with any really dress. Thank you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!